Here is the Burzes audiobook channel. You are currently listening to the fantasy novel, The Ethereal Journey. Chapter 4. Hanlin City. Li Qiang's most urgent task now was to find someone, anyone at all. He had been walking through the primeval forest for many days. Along the way, he saw only towering trees that required several people to embrace, and dense undergrowth that blocked out the sun, creating an eerie atmosphere. Often, he would walk for miles without seeing a glimpse of daylight, but he frequently encountered unknown wild animals and birds. Li Qiang couldn't help but marvel at the unpolluted environment and the breathtaking scenery, which lifted his spirits. Finally, he emerged from the forest. Rubbing his eyes, Li Qiang incredulously saw a city before him. He stood there for a long time, feeling as if tears were about to come to his eyes. Looking at the city from afar, he felt a strange sense of both strangeness and familiarity. The style of the city wall resembled that of ancient China, with green bricks, square-holed merlons, arched gateways, and flying eaves on the bell tower. Farther down the road, he could see people walking. After some consideration, Li Qiang decided it would be best to disguise himself as a tourist. He took out a large backpack and filled it haphazardly with items. Using a long ribbon, he tied up his long hair. Dressed in brown hiking boots, jeans, a dark red shirt, and a vest, Li Qiang slung the backpack over his shoulders and approached the city gate with a mix of excitement and nervousness. As he approached the gate, Li Qiang felt even more puzzled. Looking around, he noticed dozens of people, both young and old, staring at him like he was some sort of spectacle. Li Qiang nodded and smiled continuously, but whenever he tried to approach them, they scattered like frightened rabbits before he could even ask a question. However, after walking a few dozen steps away, they would follow him again, pointing and laughing among themselves. From their clothing and appearance, Li Qiang couldn't determine which dynasty of ancient China they belonged to, but he was certain it must be the Ming dynasty or earlier, as he was familiar with the clothing of the Qing dynasty from watching TV dramas. Although he couldn't communicate with them directly, thanks to his extremely sharp hearing, Li Qiang was still able to catch snippets of their low whispers, which were in the dialect of the Hangzhou-Jiexing region. This excited Li Qiang, as he had studied in Zhejiang and spent 4 years in Hangzhou, allowing him to understand most dialects from the Jiangsu and Zhejiang regions. At the city gate, Li Qiang was stopped by 4 men dressed as soldiers, each with a long sword strapped to their waist. "Who are you? Show us your travel permit," said the leader among them. The 4 soldiers also looked curious and examined him from head to toe. Li Qiang couldn't help but smile. "Great, I can understand them," he thought to himself. Spreading his hands, he replied in the Hangzhou dialect, "Brother, I have come from afar and would like to enter the city to take a look." The 4 soldiers were surprised and huddled together to discuss in low voices, with one of them turning and running quickly into the city. The leader of the soldiers adopted an extremely respectful demeanor and bowed, saying, "Honored guest, please follow me. You can rest for a moment while we send for the magistrate." "Oh, there's no need for such formalities," Li Qiang said, feeling puzzled. "I didn't say anything special just now. Why the sudden change in attitude?" Indeed, Li Qiang hadn't said anything extraordinary, but what he had said was in the authentic Hangzhou dialect. Here, the Hangzhou dialect was reserved for exclusive use by the royal family and aristocracy. Commoners were not allowed to learn or speak it. It was only later that Li Qiang came to understand this. "What is your esteemed surname, sir?" Li Qiang asked, trying to establish a rapport. The lead soldier, flustered, replied, "I am unworthy, sir. My humble surname is Hua." Li Qiang suddenly understood that there seemed to be a strict hierarchy here, and the soldier's constant use of "I am unworthy" was unsettling to hear. Growing up in a modern society, he was accustomed to the concept of equality among all people. What Li Qiang needed most now was information. The Jade Scroll only contained records related to the cultivation world, with no data on the mundane world. "Brother Hua, what is the name of this city?" Li Qiang began to pry for the required information. Li Qiang's constant use of Brother Hua left the soldier at a loss, feeling compelled to share all the information he knew about his ancestors and himself. He answered every question Li Qiang asked, often providing more information than was necessary. Gradually, Li Qiang learned some basic facts. The city was called Hanlin, located next to the Siang Forest, the forest Li Qiang had just emerged from. It was the first capital city established by the former Song dynasty. About 300 years ago, the dynasty relocated its capital, and since then, the city had gradually declined. Its population had decreased from its peak of over 700,000 to just over 200,000 now. The former Song dynasty had a population of about 70 to 80 million and was a relatively weak country among the three major powers in the Green Basin. The other two countries were Li Tang and De Han. Among these three, the De Han country was the strongest. There were also some smaller countries on the Tianting Star, located in extremely harsh natural conditions. The more famous ones included Wangming in the Storm Plains and Qingfeng in the Red Rock Petrified Mountains. There were also famous ethnic groups such as Qin, Wu, Chu, Xia, and Shang. Li Qiang understood that the former Song dynasty must have been established by people who migrated from Earth during the Song dynasty period. The same was likely true for other countries and ethnic groups. Li Qiang also learned that in the fertile Green Basin, the most fertile land on the Tianting Star, the three countries were constantly at war, with conflicts breaking out every 10 to 15 years. Each country sought to eliminate the others and unify the Green Basin, but for various reasons, they had never succeeded. One of the main reasons was the involvement of the cultivation world. Every royal family and aristocracy, as well as famous ethnic groups, had intricate connections with the cultivation world. Many of these royal families and aristocrats were cultivators themselves. The soldier further informed Li Qiang that the magistrate of Hanlin City was named Feng Kaiyun. He was a scholar who had offended someone and was demoted to this remote city. The garrison commander was Tong Fangzhen, who had risen through the ranks based on his military achievements. "The magistrate has arrived," announced a soldier. Li Qiang looked up to see two rows of yamen runners holding water and fire sticks. In front, 4 men carried signs that read "Silence" and "Avoidance." A 4-person sedan chair approached slowly. Li Qiang almost laughed, thinking, "Wow, this is too exaggerated. With such a grand procession, it's like I've really traveled back in time to ancient times." The sedan chair stopped from a distance, and the bearers lowered the poles. The yamen runners next to the chair quickly opened the curtains, and a middle-aged man emerged from the chair. He leaned on the shoulder of a yamen runner, stamped his feet, then withdrew his hand to stroke his beard as he looked at Li Qiang. A flash of surprise appeared in his eyes, followed by a smiling face as he slowly walked over with a dignified gait. Li Qiang also carefully observed this highest official of Hanlin City. He had a square face, 2 dark eyebrows that formed an inverted 8, thin lips, and a long, thin mustache. His nose was hawk-like, indicating a deep and cunning character. He wore a blue official robe, a jade belt around his waist, and 2 flat official peacock feathers dangling from the back of his hat. Li Qiang found the sight amusing. He stepped forward and greeted the official, shocking the yamen runners and soldiers with his first words. "He, are you Brother Feng Kaiyun? I am Li Qiang. Nice to meet you. Please take care of me." The soldier surnamed Hua thought to himself, "So this great man calls everyone brother. That's why he called me that too." Feng Kaiyun was taken aback but didn't dare to be negligent. He said, "I apologize for not knowing of your arrival, Mr. Li. I have failed to welcome you properly. Please forgive me." He wondered to himself, why does his courtly Mandarin speech sound so awkward? Li Qiang's next move almost scared the government officials to death. He stepped forward and patted Feng Kaiyun on the shoulder, smiling, "Don't be so polite." "Excuse me, I just want to go into the city and have a look. It's okay, it's okay. You don't have to accompany me, Brother Feng. Just tell me where the inn is. Feng Kaiyun's doubts grew stronger, and he asked, wait. Please show me your official document, sir, so that I can prepare for official duties. The atmosphere suddenly became somewhat tense. Li Qiang felt puzzled and asked, what official document? I don't have any official document. Strange. The government officials slowly surrounded him. Feng Kaiyun shouted, dare you? How dare you pretend to be a member of the royal family? Say, what are you doing here? Li Qiang also got angry, bastard. What the hell is this? When did I pretend to be anyone? What business do you have to interfere with what I'm doing? Fuck. The more he cursed, the angrier he became, and somehow, he was furious. Hey, why are you kneeling? The inner armor of the Bangqining appeared again with purple flames, and in an instant, Li Qiang's clothes turned to ashes, which were burned out of anger. Feng Kaiyun was covered in sweat and knelt on the ground. He knew he was in big trouble. Because only royal family members could cultivate the heart armor, and it had always been kept secret. He thought to himself, alas, I won't be able to keep my head this time. Feng Kaiyun paced back and forth in the study, stroking his beard. Even now, he was still afraid. Fortunately, Li Qiang didn't blame him. Otherwise, he wouldn't know how to deal with this fatal situation. His chief advisor, Cheng Zizhong, was also lost in thought with his head bowed. Master, Qiang from the guest room is here to see you. She says she has something to report, said a young servant, bowing. Quick, let her in. Feng Kaiyun's expression was slightly flustered. Cheng Zizhong said, Your Honor, stay calm. I don't think Mr. Li is the kind of person who is difficult to talk to. Feng Kaiyun sighed, Mr. Cheng, I'm in a mess. You have to help me handle this. Slave girl Qian kowtows to see you, master, said Qian, kneeling on the ground. Speak quickly, what is it? Qian replied while kneeling, Mr. Li wants to go out onto the street, and autumn fragrance is trying to stop him and talk to him. I dare not make a decision, so I came to ask you what to do, master. Kneeling on the ground, Qian couldn't help but want to laugh. She had never seen a guest like Mr. Li before. Young and handsome, he was always startling and surprising, chasing after the 4 maidservants who served him, calling them older sister and younger sister without any sense of propriety or hierarchy. He had no airs about him at all and was so much fun. He even gave them candy that they had never seen before, which was so delicious. Licking her lips, she thought about the packet of candy in her pocket and wondered when she would have the chance to take it home and let her parents and siblings taste such good things. Qian, you go back first and tell Mr. Li that I will be right there, said Feng Kaiyun. Yes, master, replied Qian, eagerly wanting to go back. She slowly backed out of the study, turned around, and ran off. Mr. Cheng, let's go together, said Feng Kaiyun, feeling a little afraid to see Li Qiang. Cheng Zizhong encouraged him, Your Honor, no matter what Mr. Li asks for, agree to it first. We have to be careful and treat him well. We can't afford to offend him again. I don't think Mr. Li will stay for long. Feng Kaiyun understood Cheng Zizhong's meaning. As long as Li Qiang was satisfied in Hanlin City, they would pay any price. Once he was satisfied and left, everything would be fine. Li Qiang was not an unreasonable person. After staying in the guest room of the government office, he no longer cared about Feng Kaiyun's rudeness. Although he didn't quite understand why Feng Kaiyun was so afraid when he saw the inner armor of the Bangqining, he was still satisfied that he could eliminate the hostile state. After all, it was very troublesome to fight, and it also went against his original intention of wanting to enjoy his travels on the heavenly court. Replacing his clothes with new ones sent by the magistrate of Feng, Li Qiang hurriedly wanted to go out onto the street as he was very curious about everything. Seeing 4 little maids blocking his way, Li Qiang couldn't help but joke with them. Feng Kaiyun stopped outside the guest room and waved to Qing Zizhong, signaling him to go in first. Qing Zizhong nodded and was about to enter when a burst of giggling sounds came from inside the room, causing both men to pause in unison. Sister Qiuxiang, please don't hold me back. I just want to go out for a walk. What are you all so nervous about? My lord, please have mercy on your humble servant. Sister Qiuxiang said that his lordship will arrive soon. Please wait a little longer, won't you? How many times have I told you not to call me my lord? Call me big brother. I like that. Feng Kaiyun felt a chill run through his bones and thought to himself, this Li is so frivolous and disrespectful of the proprieties. This is too much. Although he was exasperated, he couldn't do anything about it. However, he really couldn't bear to listen to it anymore, so he cleared his throat and led Qing Zizhong into the room. Li Qiang, whose face could be either extremely thin-skinned or thick-skinned at times, saw Feng Kaiyun come in and deliberately tried to annoy him. He grinned and walked up to him, reaching out to grab his hand and said, "Big brother, you're finally here. I wanted to go shopping on the street, but these little sisters insisted on waiting for you. Do you want to accompany me?" Feng Kaiyun nearly had his nose twisted out of shape and forcefully pulled his hand back. Seeing the color change in the magistrate's face, Qing Zizhong quickly interjected, "Lord Li, the magistrate has come with me to pay his respects to you. Also, the commander of the garrison in this city, Tong Fangzhen, will be coming to visit you. We have no intention of being remiss. Since Lord Li wishes to inspect the city, I will temporarily take the magistrate's place and accompany you. How does that sound? And who is this?" Li Qiang looked at Feng Kaiyun. "Oh, he is the chief clerk of this prefecture, Qing Zizhong, also known as Qing the Scholar." Feng Kaiyun heaved a sigh of relief. He didn't want to accompany Li Qiang as he would only get angry along the way. He cupped his hands and said, "Since Lord Li is eager to inspect the city, I won't force the issue. Qing the Scholar will accompany you while I attend to some official matters. I apologize for not being able to join you. Tonight, I will host a banquet in your honor. Farewell." Wait. These little sisters, I promised to take them shopping with me. Do you have any objections, big brother? Seeing Li Qiang stretch out his hand again, Feng Kaiyun was really annoyed and quickly said, "As you wish, Lord Li." The four little maids, Chuanxiang, Qiuxiang, Jiuxiang, and Lanxiang, happily followed behind Li Qiang and Qing Zizhong, chatting and laughing in low voices. They never expected that Li Qiang would actually take them shopping. Qing Zizhong also didn't expect that Lord Li would be like a child, showing no sense of propriety and speaking whatever came to his mind without restraint. Qing Zizhong had visited countless official residences and met numerous officials, but he had never encountered someone like Lord Li before. He found it quite intriguing. As they walked into a tailor's shop, Li Qiang couldn't help but sigh. Compared to the large supermarkets and shopping malls on Earth, the selection of goods in this place was very limited. The proprietor of the tailor's shop was a fat man with a double chin and a chubby face. His small eyes glinted with shrewdness as he hurriedly came out from behind the counter with a grinning face. "Welcome to my shop, gentlemen. What can I do for you? I'll bring it right away." He turned his head and beckoned to his assistant, "Quickly, bring out the goods and call the missus. We have female guests." Qing Zizhong didn't know what Li Qiang wanted to buy, so he just stood there with his hands clasped. Li Qiang smiled and said, "Proprietor, I want 4 sets of autumn clothes and 4 sets of winter clothes." Pointing to the 4 little maids, he continued, "They're for these 4 young ladies. If you have ready-made ones, that would be great. If not, you can take their measurements and make them." His gaze swept over the clothing racks, and he added, "And bring me that black fur-lined cloak." The proprietor took down the black fur-lined cloak and said, "Sir, this cloak is made from the skin of a beaky beast. You have excellent taste. This is the best cloak in my shop. Cheng Zizhong exclaimed, "Is this really the fur of a beaky beast? I've heard so much about it." Li Qiang touched the fur, but he didn't think it was anything special. "What's a beaky beast? What is it?" Cheng Zizhong explained, "It's a good thing. The beaky beast lives in the swamps and is extremely difficult to catch. Its fur is waterproof and can protect against wind and rain. In winter, wearing it is both lightweight and warm." The proprietor grinned and said, "Wow, this gentleman is truly an expert." There was a flurry of activity as the shopkeepers bustled about. The four little maids felt like they were dreaming. No one had ever treated them so well before, and they were overcome with gratitude. "All right, I'll take them. Please wrap up the 8 sets of clothes and the cloak together and deliver them to the prefectural office," Li Qiang said. The proprietor's neck shrank back in fear as he thought to himself, "Oh no, these are for officials. If they don't pay, I'll have to jump into the river." He was very worried. "How much do I owe you?" Li Qiang asked, and then his heart skipped a beat. "Oops, I don't know what kind of currency they use here. The cloak is 715 taels, and the 8 sets of clothes are 47 taels and 4 mace. The total is 762 taels and 4 mace of silver," the proprietor quickly calculated on his abacus. Li Qiang turned to Cheng Zizhong and asked, "Where is the nearest jewelry store?" The 4th chapter ends. Thank you for listening. This is Burz's audiobook channel. Please follow me to get updates in the first time.